one of the many exciting things about joining Live was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
Here in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta, it's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50 years old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Gold Championships, and now we have Live.
1, 2, 3, 2, 1.
I feel like when there's this wind in this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
OMG, what did we just witness? Our first ever double playoff in Live Golf history. I am so pumped up right now.
So much happened on the last 5 minutes. I mean, it looked like it was going to the Crushers and Annie Barton winning, and all of a sudden then Abraham holding a chip, David Puig birdie Nate, then that little putt from Annie Barton on the last. I mean, it was great watching.
You know, it's really amazing to be able to do it in your home country, in front of my family, in front of so many friends, and on my favorite golf course. So it's obviously super nice.
Great friends, it's Kaplan and Crew with Grande and the Brown Man. We come to you from the 7 Mile Casino Studios, 7milecasino.com. If you're in San Diego, you already know the story. If you're coming into San Diego from anywhere around the country, it's only 7 minutes south of downtown San Diego. Blackjack, poker, other table games. Amazing food at Sammy's Restaurant and Bar. Easy parking where you don't have to schlep 6 miles to walk into the casino. And when you get in, you're not going to be hit in the face with a wave of smoke because there ain't no smoking at 7 Mile Casino. 7 Mile Casino, 7milecasino.com. And if you have any problems with gambling, you call 1-800-GAMBLER. So this is the second hour of day one as we expand the show from local and regional in Southern California on 1090 on radio, on cable television, on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, Amazon Music, and of course our home base, the Kaplan and Crew YouTube channel, which is where everybody's involved in the live YouTube chat right now. We'll send some shout outs and we'll put your names up on the screen. Guys, we're going into hour 2 of day one.
Yep.
I said to you guys in the last hour that I'm kind of jonesing out now because baseball season starts the second half. Football training camps are opening and the Olympics are what is going to satisfy us in the middle. But Alex,
yes,
I will tell you, I made the commitment to you this weekend.
Yes.
I committed to starting to watch Receivers on Netflix.
And this is the weekend you decided to do that on the busiest weekend of your year.
Of all weekends, this was the dumbest weekend to commit to watching Receiver. Because, and for those of you that are tuning in, you're like, well, why? What was so busy? What's going on? This past weekend was the opening of Del Mar, which is the super cool happening place to be in all of Southern California for opening day. It's like the Kentucky Derby of Southern California. So
any
imagine
celebrity sightings this year?
Let's see. None that come to mind because I was very under the radar.
I heard a rumor, but I didn't believe it when I heard it.
What's that?
DiCaprio was at one of the parties.
Leo DiCaprio?
Mm-hmm. I heard that, but I couldn't substantiate that rumor in any way. I called 4 different people. I
didn't see any major A-lister types. But I did, I'll just tell you
other
guys,
than us.
Naturally. Alex, you know what? Give me a second here. I was gonna go into Receiver, and I will go into Receiver because I did watch episode 1. By the way, I'm in love with Amon St. Brown. I love that guy. You know?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you something else. And I love George Kittle too. You know? Now Deebo Samuel, the football player, love that guy. The off the air trying to do an interview with that guy wasn't so fun. Don't really like him off the air. But on the field, I love that guy. George Kittle, awesome. Love his wife so far from what I've seen. And I love Amon St. Brown. I think so. Episode 1 is about those two guys. The next episode, which I haven't gotten to yet, this is where they introduce Davante Adams, and who else is getting ready to be introduced?
Justin Jefferson.
Oh, okay, Justin Jefferson. Okay, all right, cool.
First of all, by the way, if you're going to rank wives, Kirk Cousins' wife's still number 1 on the rankings in terms of the quarterbacks, receivers, wives list.
Like the likability factor?
Yes.
How many episodes are you in?
She got that Stepford wife look to her. You get whatever you want out of her.
I don't know what that means.
Me neither. Well, how many episodes have you watched?
I saw the preview.
I saw the preview.
All right.
Yeah, I was busy this weekend. I was at Del Mar.
I was doing stuff, Alex. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, he was at Del Mar.
Oh, it's not like the show's been out for a month. It's all good.
Yeah. But don't forget, he had 2 comedy shows on Saturday night.
Right.
I'm not talking about this weekend.
Facts.
Brother saw the preview though, and based on the preview alone, he now knows Kirk Cousins' wife is number 1 on the wife rankings.
Still number 1 on the power rankings.
I don't know, man. George Kittle's wife, she was a basketball player at Iowa, which I didn't know that until I saw this first episode, and so she obviously was probably a generation or 2 in front of Caitlin Clark. When nobody knew anything about Iowa women's basketball, George Kittle's wife was like one of the stars of the team. Did you know that, Browner?
She was Caitlin Clark before Caitlin Clark?
I mean, she wasn't Caitlin Clark before Caitlin Clark because nobody knew who she was.
Yeah,
you know?
Fair.
But, man, she is so super supportive, and they go to every game, and they show up in this giant van, and on both sides of the van are these – what do they call it, Alex?
Party bus.
Well, yeah, it's a giant party bus, but on both sides of it, they have like George Kittle. One side, he's like shirtless, laying like the whole van is him. And I don't remember what the ad was on the other side, but she's cool, man. She shows up at every game. There was this one game that they were playing where she brought in all of his best friends, you know, from college, and they were all there for him. And they're 30 years old, and they are living the life of being a great player on a good team, making bank, beautiful house, fly your friends. I mean, they are living the life.
Besides the multi-million-dollar contracts that they have.
Right. That's the money.
I see that, and that's what I want. That's what I got. Because you know what's not in their portion of the show? Children. Like Davante Adams, when he gets introduced, and he's got 3 girls running around, and he's stressed because his quarterbacks stink. He's stressed because Josh McDaniels is a terrible coach. And then he has to come home and be stressed about 3 little girls running around, and all of them under the age of like 4. Whereas George Kittle's like, hey, I got the life, man. We got Purdy throwing me the rock. I'm having the best year of my life. Me and my wife, we just got a dog, and we just party. Yeah. And we just play football.
Yeah. I know. There's the one scene where they're in the back of the party bus with all of his buddies after a game. He scored 3 touchdowns. He had 3 receptions for 3 touchdowns. I don't even remember who the 49ers were playing in that game. Do you remember? I don't remember.
No.
3 touchdowns, 3 catches. And he kept saying, man, how's that for a stat line? And then they get him onto the party bus, and he's got like cans of beer, and he's poking like a can of beer with a key or something. And he's shotgunning beers.
Well, I was going to say, let's see if Scott knows what this is.
Yeah, shotgunning beers. I know that.
Cool. All right.
I can't do that, but I know what it is.
What do you mean you can't do that?
I mean, I'm not really a beer shotgunning kind of guy.
You can't shotgun a beer, dog?
I mean, I could if I had to, because I'm a man, you know? Like, I mean, I can't fix things. I'm not, what are you guys laughing at?
Yeah,
What's so
you
funny
are.
about that?
Yeah.
I could see you shotgunning in your velvet blue hat, wearing white pants, shotgunning beers.
Dude, I was rocking that this weekend. So that was the thing, is I committed to watching receivers, or at least getting the series started on the busiest weekend of my entire year, which was the opening of Del Mar.
I want to know, like, because you like Amon St. Brown right away.
Love Amon St. Brown.
Right away. I'm curious to see if you're going to come off watching that show and dislike Davante Adams as much as I started disliking Davante Adams. And I'm curious to get, like, I'm just, because I know we all look at things differently. And maybe it's the Viking lover in me and seeing the Packer and just still having that resentment towards him. But seeing him complain so much and then seeing the way he acts on the sidelines, I'd be curious to get your take. I'm genuinely curious.
Well, I haven't seen episode 2 yet, but I'm going to say this. It's kind of one of those shows where I saw episode 1. I finished it last night, and I couldn't wait to now get to episode 2. So I haven't started episode 2 yet, but how many episodes are there total?
I think there's 8.
8 of them? All right. Well, I got to jump in and see the rest of them. Like, I got to try and do it as quickly as I can, because I feel behind, and B, like I'm really genuinely curious because, you mentioned Josh McDaniels. Like, I forgot about when they filmed this, who was the coach. I mean, everybody's been talking about Davante Adams beating up on Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
But I forgot about who the coach was.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden Antonio Pierce starts popping up for interviews, smoking cigars. Raider! Yeah, it's a very different vibe as soon as McDaniels gets bounced. It's a great show, man. It's a great show.
I know. I want to see that. And
what you should watch before the Olympics start on Friday too? I don't know if you have time.
What?
Sprinters.
Sprinters is a Netflix show.
It's
that's
the same thing.
thing.
It's the same thing, but it's with Sha'Carri Richardson, Noah Lyles, like the American sprinters and the women sprinters. It's a great show. It'll get you hyped for the Olympics.
Okay, and have you've seen the whole thing? You've seen the whole series?
Whole thing. Yeah.
God, it's unbelievable how much TV you watch.
Oh, it's unbelievable how lack of children I have and time I have.
Seriously. Like, I mean, you see more stuff than anybody. And Browner got 4 little kids. He ain't watching all this stuff. No. Plus, he only watches things if there's proper representation. Dude, you should be watching receivers. It's all representation for you, brother.
I'm going to watch receivers and I'm going to watch sprinters in a day. I'm committing that. I'm going to commit to that. I don't know which day because y'all also know I'm training for a marathon. I mean, a 5K.
Yeah, I mean, a 5K.
A marathon, a.k.a. 5K.
Yeah, don't forget.
I got a lot on my plate.
You're going to win that marathon. You mean 5K. Don't forget. You're not training to finish it. You're training to win it.
Damn right.
Big difference.
Big difference. Big difference. All right. So because we started talking some football here, and that's where I know my mind is starting to focus on, there is some news from the NFL as training camps are beginning to open. One of the biggest stories, at least, here we are in the early part of the training camp summer, is a superstar quarterback.
DeMar DeRozan now joins that team in Sacramento with the Kings. De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, Devin Carter, who they drafted early, Keegan Murray as well. A Kings team, DRS, that has been a playoff contender.
Is it going to equate to a championship? Probably not. That's not the goal. Make your team better every offseason. The Kings definitely got better with that move here, Ben.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Where are you at in terms of a starting lineup, what you want to see from Team USA?
I think he'll get guys involved, and then there's your lockdown defender at the point guard, the point of attack, right? I do like Curry. I would then go with Ant. I like Ant over Booker. I think if you look at the way the Canada game was, they looked kind of slow starting, and then they kind of got rolling.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
He talked about Major League Baseball and its rule, or actually its relationship with sports betting and gambling.
Integrity is the foremost concern, and a lot of people are questioning that given all the scandals, right? There's Mercado, there's Pat Hoberg, one of the best umpires in MLB, suspended right now. We don't exactly know what he did, but he's been disciplined, and he hasn't umpired a game this year.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
If this wind, like we have out of the Northwest, was here all week, it would be insane watching these guys play in it. But it's going to be a southwest wind, which makes it a little easier as far as the direction of the wind. The guys will have it a little bit of a break on the back nine. But it is such a fun golf course, one that I really do think tests every single aspect of your game.
Only on SportsGrid.
Well, I guess I'm the only person that's not watching all this stuff. Here, take a look. This is unbelievable. I'm in our live YouTube chat right now. If you go to YouTube and you jump in on Kaplan and Crew, you can get involved in our live YouTube chat, and then we bring up your comments here. Look at this.
YouTube.com/Kaplan and Crew.
Thank you, sir. Here's Bernard Thompson. I have 3 kids, and I watch TV all day from when I get off work from 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. every day. Wow.
Shut up.
Wow.
And that man working in a hospital.
Dude, that's 7 hours of TV a day. Now, if I put in 7 hours, just today alone, if I put in 7 hours, I could finish Receivers, no problem.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Alex, what's the name of the show? Sprinters? Is that the name of the show you want me to watch?
I think it's called Sprinters, yeah.
Sprinters, okay. If I could just commit to doing what Bernard says he does, 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. every day, TV, and more TV.
It's called Sprint, excuse me.
Sprint, okay. If I could just do that for 3 days straight, I could finish, no problem. I could finish receivers. And then I could take down sprint. I mean, that's pretty good, man. That's a lot of TV.
You could
That's
do
a lot of TV. Here's Darth Navarro, who says a receiver is great. He finished it yesterday. That's cool. Okay, very good. All right. Well, I'm in. I want to see the rest of the receiver. I am. I'm going to see the rest of the receiver, and then we'll go on from there. Here's Neil. The Neil Saw says my wife would hate me watching TV that much. I know, like I have no chance. If I said to Rachel, I'm like, hey, listen, let's not go out for dinner tonight.
Yeah.
Let's just sit at home from 6 p.m. or when I get off the radio at night in LA from 7 p.m. till 2 a.m. Let's just watch 6 hours of TV, girl.
My favorite part about my wife is that she'll sit and watch 6 episodes of Sprint with me and then complain after, like, that was too much TV. What did we just do? But it's like, she'll still do it. And then she'll be like, we can't do that. That was like a waste of a day.
Oh, man, beautiful. All right, it's Kaplan and Crew with Grande and the Brown Man from the 7 Mile Casino Studios, 7milecasino.com. I don't watch 7 hours of TV in a week, let alone in a day. I did mention, though, that there is a star NFL quarterback who is already creating some interesting content.
Point, timeout. Before the break, you said superstar, and that offended me.
Okay.
Oh.
Because, come on, man. Come
on. Yeah, maybe that was a clickbaity kind of tease. How about that?
Okay.
All right.
Because I was like, do you actually believe that?
Well, he believes it, apparently. Green Bay Packers quarterback Jordan Love is going to hold out because he wants a new contract.
Pay him.
Oh, listen, you have no choice but to pay him.
Pay him.
I mean, if the Dallas Cowboys, well, hold on. If the Dallas Cowboys paid Dak Prescott coming off of like a broken leg, okay, if the New York Giants paid Daniel Jones because they were too gutless to actually say, you know what, we drafted him in the first round. We saw what he did for 4 years. He's only okay. Let's go into the draft and start over. Most teams don't have the guts to draft a quarterback, cultivate a quarterback, and let him go when his contract is up. Most of the times, if the guy's a starter, they wind up re-signing the guy.
Right. And he's the only one of the 2020 draft class, which is like the best quarterback draft class ever, probably, that has yet to be paid. So you have Joe Burrow, Tua. Oh, Tua hasn't been paid. Excuse me. My bad. Okay. Tua hasn't been paid.
Tua.
Herbert and Jalen Hurts.
Listen, man, this is not a hard conversation. He's going to get paid more than Dak because he went into Dallas and beat Dak. I don't like how the system works, but this is how the system works. The last time we saw him playing, he was busting Dallas's ass.
On the road in a year where Dallas had won all their home games.
He also choked away a big lead against the San Francisco 49ers in the playoffs.
Correct. So I don't really understand.
Not all him, by the way.
A lot of him. He had a lot of missed throws. That was one of his worst games.
I don't understand what the conversation is about. So you have to pay this guy whatever he wants you to pay him, period. Because you stuck. You let Aaron Rodgers walk. This guy's been in your system for 4 years. He knows the ins and outs of it. So what you going to do now, unplug? So you mean to tell me y'all not going to pay Jordan Love, but there are people talking about you have to pay Dak Prescott? I don't see it. If anything,
I think the question is like, where do you put him? I think that's the question because he's not next man up. That's a very different conversation. He's not in that Joe Burrow era, Justin Herbert. He's not in that realm.
That's true. I'll give you that.
But hold on. Go back to the quarterback class you said of 2020, right?
Right.
So you had in that class, you had Burrow, who's already been to a Super Bowl.
Paid.
Burrow, Tua, who has dealt with injuries, came back last year, had a really great year, has got a lot of weapons.
Not paying him, though. Not paying him.
I'd pay Tua.
I'm not paying him.
I'd pay Tua.
Justin Herbert.
Okay, Herbert. Herbert's been paid. By the way,
and it was Jordan Love.
Wait, just one thing. Herbert has been statistically outstanding.
Correct.
But Herbert's got the same problem as his predecessor. It'll be coach after coach after coach. Now, with Harbaugh, they're not firing Harbaugh anytime soon because they got too much money wrapped up in Jim Harbaugh. But Herbert's put up big numbers. Herbert's got nothing to show for it except one playoff loss when he had a 27-0 lead at halftime.
Right.
Which, by the way, he didn't miss a tackle in that game.
He also didn't score any points in the second half of that game. So
scored enough to win.
No,
clearly
actually
not.
he didn't.
The
He
defense
lost.
got to get stops. I'm not going to let y'all hop on national do this to Herbert. I'm not going to let this happen.
Why
You
not?
can only do what you can do as a quarterback. Everybody else got to carry their weight. You just
So why
said they
do
get coach after coach
why do
after
you do
coach.
that for Herbert only, and then you throw everybody else under the freaking bus? Jared Goff stinks. He's been to 2 Super Bowls, or Super Bowl and a half. You know what I mean? Like, you just throw everybody under the bus, but except Justin Herbert. You always defend this guy like you put like baby pads on him or something, man. Like, dude, he choked that game. The offense choked that game. Everybody choked that game. But don't let Justin Herbert off the hook off that one game. You know he did.
If you want to tell me what he did was a choke job, that's your business. That's your problem.
I do want to tell you
love
that.
Jared Goff. That's your business. That's your problem. Don't introduce that to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you what I think about Justin Herbert. If you ask me who I'm taking, Justin Herbert or Jared Goff,
We're not asking you that.
Yeah, nobody actually asked that question.
And you always bring that up.
Yeah, right.
No one's asking you.
No
that.
one's
asking you who would you rather have.
No one cares. And by the way, in the words of the late great John Clayton, Browner, you don't know anything about quarterbacks in the NFL. Just want to bring that quote out.
I just want to say real quick, Jordan Love is, by the way, yes, rest in peace, John. Miss you. The weirdest thing about Jordan Love is that he was terrible for half the season.
Right.
And then he was really good for half the season. And then he wasn't so good in the playoffs. So it's like, what do you do?
Well, but I disagree. He was great against the Cowboys. He was not great against the 49ers. So I would throw that caveat in there.
But listen, but just like you're saying about Justin Herbert, I mean, that was a full Charger meltdown in Jacksonville, and Justin Herbert is not solely responsible. It's a full team loss. Okay, Green Bay had a lead on the road in San Francisco and couldn't get the job done, and the whole thing fell apart. And I'm not putting it all on Jordan Love, but it's interesting how now the Packers find themselves in that same desperate spot.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're gonna go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's gonna help me get the job done. There is not gonna be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
What he's doing on a 5-day basis, and when he pitches at that ballpark, if there's one thing you notice, there's not one empty seat.
The excitement he's brought to that city and the fact that fans are starting to come back, especially on the nights he pitches, I mean, it is so cool to see. It's so overdue, and you can't help but root for Pittsburgh.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
As of July 22nd, we start a new deal with a monster distribution platform called SportsGrid, and we'll be live every day on national radio on Sirius XM channel 159, and we will be live on their national television platform every day from 10 a.m. till noon.
Only on SportsGrid.
Telling you right now, the Packers are in the same position that the Cowboys were in when they had no choice but to sign Dak Prescott, the same position that the Giants were in when they decided that they had to sign Daniel Jones. And Alex, your point about how many is Jordan Love next? I mean, if you put up a list of like the top 10 quarterbacks and what they get paid in the NFL, I don't think Jordan Love should surpass all these guys just because he's the next guy that has to be signed. But I think that the Packers are going to wind up having to do that. Again, I don't know that they're going to have to make him the top paid quarterback in the NFL, but you're so right. At the beginning, at first part of last year, we were like, waited all this time.
I was celebrating.
Yeah.
We were celebrating. Me and Brown were like, look, this guy stinks. Finally.
Yeah.
Packers, welcome to the life of every other NFL franchise where your quarterback's not good. Go through it yourselves. And then he figured it out. Packers won some games, and they got to the playoffs, won a game there too. But are you going to – all right, top 10 quarterbacks here. I'll just list them real quick. Joe Burrow, $55 million. Trevor Lawrence, $55 million. Jared Goff, $53 million. Justin Herbert, $52.5. Lamar Jackson, $52. Jalen Hurts, $51. Kyler Murray, 46. Deshaun Watson, 46. Mahomes, 45. Kirk Cousins, 45. And Josh Allen, 43.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this. Go back to the top of that list, go to
Burrow,
yep.
Lawrence, Goff.
Okay, hold on right there. Trevor Lawrence. Jordan Love or Trevor Lawrence? I mean, you got to take your chance because
Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence had a good year 2 years ago when they did win that playoff game against the Chargers. And then last year they didn't make the playoffs and they weren't as good. People might have argued that he may have taken a step backwards. Jordan Love, to me, if I were his agent, I'd be like, Trevor Lawrence, that's our comp.
No. See, honestly, if I was the Packers, you do have a choice. Let him hold out.
Yeah.
Call his bluff because you still control him for another year after this. If he does well this year, then you can go through this all again or franchise him. Like, you don't let a player who is not deserving of a $200 to $300 million contract hold you hostage. Don't be that team.
I just don't think you could compare him to Trevor Lawrence because of Trevor Lawrence's pedigree, one, and two, Trevor Lawrence survived Urban Meyer, and we don't talk about that enough in his category of wins in this league. He survived Urban Meyer and that catastrophe, his first year in the league, right out the box. Urban Meyer was a dumpster fire. He survived that. Very few other quarterbacks could have came out on the other side of that successful, and he did that. So hats off to him for that alone. The Packers are a fantastic organization. As much as I hate every inch of them, they are well ran. If they're nothing, they are well ran. They get things right. They get the simple things right. They don't have to pay him. I don't think they are right now. They're going to make him play a whole nother year to prove through 18 games you can do what you did over 8 or 9 games.
It's crazy to me to just hear the GM say, like, yeah, we're close on a new deal. It's like, why? Like, why?
Here's why. Because they drafted him, they sat him, they taught him, they cultivated him, and then last year in his first year as a starter, you're right. The first half of the year, Vikings fans, Bears fans were celebrating that finally the Packers aren't going from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers into another future Hall of Famer. And then by the second half of the season, everybody's like, oh, wait a second. He's actually really good.
Right.
Good.
Right.
So
they're going to
pay him, man. Good.
And because they have
not really good. He won a playoff game on the road in Dallas.
Yeah. Oh.
You're not impressed by that, huh?
Oh, beating Dallas in the playoffs. Really, really impressive.
That could be the ultimate fool's goal, by the way. He's right
Yeah.
about
It is
that.
the ultimate
might be.
fool's goal.
Might be.
Yeah.
As great as he was, that could be the ultimate fool's goal.
I just looked it up. Aaron Jones had 120 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns that game.
Okay.
It's like, it wasn't like I'm going to do the Browner thing. It wasn't just Jordan Love that won that game.
Mm.
Browner said, what are you doing?
Browner said he wanted to Browner said he wanted to get in on Ohtani. So we'll definitely get into some baseball coming up in just a matter of moments. We are in the 7 Mile Casino Studios, 7milecasino.com. It's Kaplan and Crew with Grande and the Brown Man. We've gone from local and regional Southern California. We've expanded nationwide on SportsGrid, so on all of their television platforms, whether it's Roku, Amazon Prime, Samsung, and the list goes on and on. And we've also expanded the channel 159, which is the SportsGrid radio channel on Sirius.
A lot of people
XM.
messaging me they're listening on Sirius XM today.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
That was one thing I desperately wanted to do. I mean,
Nice.
I really, really wanted to get the show onto Sirius. I didn't really ever know how we could or would. And then the SportsGrid opportunity came up, and I'm super stoked about it and loving being on the national streaming radio. Is that what – it's actually kind of a funny thing. As a matter of fact, the guy who created Sirius XM, a guy who's credited with that, it's a guy named Mel Karmazin. You guys ever heard of Mel Karmazin?
Have not.
Mel Karmazin was Howard Stern's go-to guy. And Howard would always talk about Mel on the air. Mel, to the point where when I was a young kid, I'm like, I'm going to find this guy, Mel. I'm going to stalk this guy, Mel. And I'm going to get from him what I want. And that's exactly how it went down. And tomorrow night, I'll be in LA for the debut of a film called Mel, where it's the first time that Mel Karmazin, the guy who really, really was the heart and soul of Sirius XM, there's a movie where he talks about all of that kind of stuff.
One of the many exciting things about joining Live was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
Here in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta, it's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50 years old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Gold Championships, and now we have Live.
4, 3, 2, 1.
I feel like when this wind at this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
OMG, what did we just witness? Our first ever double playoff in Live Golf history. I am so pumped up right now.
So much happened on the last 5 minutes. I mean, it looked like it was going to the crushers and Annie Barton winning, and all of a sudden then Abraham holding a chip, David Puig birdie eight, then that little putt from Annie Barton on the last. I mean, it was great watching.
You know, it's really amazing to be able to do it in your home country, in front of my family, in front of so many friends, and on my favorite golf course. So it's obviously super nice.
Great friends, it's Kaplan and Crew with Grande and the Brown Man. We come to you from the 7 Mile Casino Studios, 7milecasino.com. So I feel like we've talked a bunch of football today. We've talked some basketball, the USA basketball team. LeBron James is the flag bearer. We talked about a bunch of stuff like that. As a matter of fact, Alex, real quickly before we move into a little bit of baseball we haven't gotten to yet, put up the poll question one more time and the QR code. I want everybody to vote on this. I'm curious to hear how you guys feel. I was of the opinion that LeBron James, yes, I get it. He's the biggest name, the biggest star, the biggest brand. I got it, a two-time Olympic champion and so on. But I feel like the Olympics and the flag bearer should be like somebody who's what I'll call a pure Olympian. And so here's our poll question, and it comes to us from our partners at LakersNation.com. How do you feel about LeBron James being selected to be the team's flag bearer at the Olympics? And Alex voted impressed, and it seems like 80% feel the same way. So if you're watching,
84.
Well, listen, it's a little small for a guy like me. You know, I got to bust out the goggles. You know, I got to bust out the glasses here, which I'm finally starting to just give in on glasses. Like if you're my age and you don't have prescription glasses and you do have, this is my first pair of readers, and I'm fighting them off. I am literally fighting off the readers. But Sunday morning, I'm sitting here in my office and I'm trying to read something, and I'm doing that whole thing where you pull it forward and you push it out and you're trying to find where's the best zone to see it. And finally, I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Give me these freaking readers. So I took the readers, and then I'm like, oh my God, I can see everything so crystal clear. Why do I fight this? I fight it because if you wear readers, you're admitting your eyes are getting weaker. You're admitting you're getting older. So I've been fighting it. I can't fight
Interesting what you choose to fight and not fight.
Oh, yeah? So in that case, I couldn't see it was 84%. I couldn't see it was 84%, all right? So put the QR code up one more time. Anybody who's watching on SportsGrid, I know a lot of you guys are listening on Sirius Channel 159. A lot of you guys are watching on our YouTube channel. All you have to do is take your phone, hit the QR code, and come vote in our Kaplan and Crew poll today. All right. There you go. All right. So I will admit I did not watch a ton of baseball this weekend. The Padres were taking on Cleveland. Cleveland had one of the best records in all of baseball, and I give the Padres a lot of credit. 2 out of 3 in Cleveland is an excellent start to the second half of the season, especially when you had lost 6 of 7. And on the Dodgers side of things, the Dodgers also lost 6 of 7 going into the All-Star break, and they come out on fire with 3 straight wins at home. but I wasn't watching a ton of baseball because I found myself at Del Mar for opening day Saturday, and then I found myself back there on Sunday, and even the after parties on Saturday night. It was kind of turned into a long night, which is, Browner, why I couldn't get to the comedy club on Saturday night to check you out.
That's all good. There's going to be some more coming.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Del Mar on Saturday, real quick before I get to baseball. Can I do a little show and tell right now for all of our sports gridders on TV, or should I just jump right into baseball?
Baseball.
All right. He says baseball.
Yeah,
Forget
we've
show
talked
and tell.
Del Mar a good amount.
Forget show
Yeah,
and tell.
baseball.
I know, but I just the whole hat thing. A lot of people are asking me where I got that
save
cool
that
hat.
for Uncensored.
Oh, that's a good idea.
We can have
That's
a
a good
better
idea.
conversation with that at Uncensored.
For anybody who watches on SportsGrid or who's listening on SportsGrid, when we get done with the show and we hand things off, we do an uncensored portion of the podcast, and it's only available on our YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube and go to Kaplan and Crew, that's where we can say what we really want to say. We can curse and so on and so forth. So be there, okay? All right, baseball then. So, Browner, you started off with the show today talking about Ohtani.
Yeah.
And Ohtani hit a home run yesterday that was, listen, if you've ever been to Dodger Stadium, you understand how gigantic that place is. Ohtani hit a home run out of the stadium. Now, it's one thing if you're watching a game in San Francisco and somebody hits a ball over the right field wall and it goes into McCovey Cove and you got all those guys who are, I don't get it. Like, I would never in my life ever be on a canoe to catch a home run baseball or go battle. I gotta hurry up and paddle over here to get a baseball in McCovey Cove. I would never do that.
I still am fascinated that since that stadium's open, how long has it been open for? Like 20-some years already?
At least
a while.
Yeah.
There's only been 103 of them.
103 balls hit into McCovey Cove?
I figured it would happen almost every night.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Sign up.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's why I noticed it. I was watching a highlight and I noticed the splash hit. I was like, 103? Like this year? No, in total.
But Ohtani hitting a ball out of Dodger Stadium is ridiculous. Again, if you've ever been to Dodger Stadium and you realize how big that place is, you're like, wait a second, he hit the ball out? Like, I still have to keep going back and watching it over and over again to really understand.
473 feet.
Insane. But here's the thing. The Dodgers, I'll give a lot of credit to the start of the second half of the season. We talked a lot about no Mookie, no Muncy. Kershaw's supposed to be coming back. No Buehler, no Yamamoto. I mean, to me, Ohtani is carrying this team. Browner, what is your beef with Ohtani today?
Well, first of all, my original beef dates back to him. He's a gambler. They buried the story, and no one talks about it anymore. Let's start there. That's one. Two, he was great on the Angels. Great for nothing. Nobody ever seen him do anything other than be the great, as I like to call him, Ophony. He's been a great Ophony for the southern version of Los Angeles, like the South Sudan, the southern version of Los Angeles. So now he's on the Dodgers. Now he's on the big boy club. This is when I need to see you carry the team. Like you say, they had lost 7 in a row. They came off a bad streak. You start the second half of the All-Star break. You want to see him be the MVP. You want to see him be that guy he was on the Angels. Now, do it when it counts. Do it when you're trying to hold the lead in the division, which I say they don't have to worry about that, but do it now. Do it when Mookie Betts is out. Do it if Freddie Freeman
is that not what he's doing? Is that not what he's doing?
3 games?
I mean, dude, they also have. They're also. All right, go ahead, Alex. Take us through new team.
I'm just saying
same Ohtani.
This is the numbers he's put up. Take them for what they are. The second best batting average in the National League, the most home runs, third most RBIs, scored the most runs, and the highest OPS. 315, 30, 70.
Now,
so is he not doing that?
Just because we national, don't think we don't have like some type of super stat group because we don't got that. But if I did have that, you know what I'd ask for? The numbers when all these people went out. What does numbers look like then? Them's the numbers that I would like to see. Because when you put those numbers up, that's when you got Freddie Freeman. That's when you got Mookie Betts. That's when you got all these guys hitting around him that you have to pitch to him. Again, he's a great player. I'm not saying he's not a great player. But when you have all these other guys in the lineup, it's easy to function. It's easy to be number one.
But those are his numbers through the first half of the season and the first 3 games of the second half of the season. And Mookie Betts has been out for however many games it's been. And Max Muncy has been out for 50 games. And Freddie Freeman's been good, but he hasn't been like superstar spectacular. Will Smith's been good. To me, they've had a lot of holes in their defense. They've got a lot of injuries in their pitching staff, and Ohtani's putting up offensive numbers like that.
Again, these are the stats measured from start to season till today. What I'm saying is, give me his
Or would
stats
you like
when
me to
Mookie
stop?
Betts went out.
When would you like me to start? And I'll look
When
it up.
Mookie Betts went out, give me them numbers if you can get them, if you can grind them up.
I only thought you did research when I asked for research. Browner now does it too.
No. I'm just saying, this is the time. I need to see it now. Because all this talk about
since
how great
Mookie Betts has been out,
give it to me.
June 16th, he is hitting 340.
Okay.
With a 458 on base percentage.
Is that good?
13 home runs and 26 RBIs, 27 runs scored.
Okay.
Case rested. He's awesome, regardless of who's in the lineup and who's not in the lineup. Now, I see a lot of people in our live YouTube chat are saying, now, wait a second. Ohtani hit a 473-foot home run that went out of Dodger Stadium, and everybody's talking about that. But Tatis hit one that was like 468.
Like I said, I seen better.
Oh.
I seen better home runs out of there. Seen better. Y'all let this gambling, cheating, food just get away with everything. Now, don't nobody care that he gambled on the game of baseball. Right in your face. He gambled on the game, and then they told y'all was stupid because they blamed it on his interpreter who ain't got no damn money, but he owe a bookie $2 million. Man, please.
I think it was a lot more than $2 million. Boy, you're still holding on to that, though. Listen, I actually give you credit. I give you credit. I give you credit for holding on to it because you're right. Baseball did a phenomenal job of burying that story and finding their scapegoat, and nobody's talking about it. And by the way, if he were with the Angels, I think people would still be talking about it. But because he's with the Dodgers, ain't nobody want to hear about it, And they have buried. I'll grant you that. I will grant you that, no problem. As of July 22nd. We start a new deal with a monster distribution platform called SportsGrid, and we'll be live every day on national radio on Sirius XM channel 159, and we will be live on their national television platform every day from 10 a.m. till noon.
Only on SportsGrid.
If this wind like we have out of the Northwest was here all week, it would be insane watching these guys play in it. But it's going to be a southwest wind, which makes it a little easier as far as the direction of the wind. And the guys will have it a little bit of a break on the back nine. But it is such a fun golf course, one that I really do think tests every single aspect of your game.
Only on SportsGrid.
Now joins that team in Sacramento with the Kings. Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, Devin Carter, who they drafted early, Keegan Murray as well. A Kings team, DRS, that has been a playoff contender.
Is it going to equate to a championship? Probably not. That's not the goal. Make your team better every offseason. The Kings definitely got better with that move here, Ben.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
Yeah, it was a great weekend for the Padres in Cleveland, since we were talking about the Dodgers and what they did against the Red Sox. For those of you that are with us on SportsGrid and you're listening nationally, especially those of you guys who are in the East Coast, who you guys talk about the Yankees and the Mets and the Phillies and the Braves, out here out west, we are headquartered in San Diego, and the Padres have been our longtime primary team. Dodgers secondary, and Angels don't even really register on the radar for anybody. Yeah, I mean, just nothing. It's been since 2000.
They'll register once they start selling everybody off to teams that matter.
Well, it would be interesting if Mike Trout were to get traded. Still don't think that'll happen because who the hell would take on that contract when that guy can never play?
Unless the Angels take a big old chunk of that and just get as many prospects as
Why
possible.
doesn't he want to be traded? This is the part about Mike Trout I don't understand. And I never get this about Mike Trout. You clearly are on an organization that can't produce a consistent winner. At one point, you were considered the greatest baseball player of this generation. You don't want to find a place to now cement your legacy and win?
Well, when you're hurt all the time, you want to
traded?
be in the nice weather, you know?
No, he says he doesn't want to be traded. He publicly said that multiple times in spring training. I don't want to be traded.
Well, times change. Meniscuses tear. They heal. You come back. You're like, you know what? Let's go.
Let's find out. Let's find out.
You know, like there's a lot of teams out there that could use a center fielder, but you kind of need him to walk first, and then we can go from there.
So our listeners who are, based in San Diego and through Southern California, a lot of our LA listeners, they get a real kick out of the Padre talk because Dodger fans look down on Padre fans. Dodger fans are, hey, we're multi-time champions. We've got the biggest and best stadium. We sell more merch. We sell more tickets. We've got the better organization. We have your guy who could have been your manager that you wouldn't even interview, and he's been with us for 10 years. And Padre fans are always sort of have that chip on their shoulder, like all they want to do is beat the Dodgers. But I'll say this, I was worried about the Padres and coming out in the second half of the season because the way that the schedule looks is very, very tough. But the Padres came out 2 out of 3 against Cleveland and won this series this weekend. Not what I expected. So credit to them. And they had some really good pitching performances. Alex, you could show them to us. It was a good weekend. It was a really, really good weekend for the Padre pitching staff. Go ahead, take us through this.
Yeah, these are the 3 guys that they have to rely on. And if they don't win the games when these guys pitch, good luck the other ones. Because you have Darvish out, you have Joe Musgrove, who's out at least another month, according to local reports. So, yeah, you didn't win on Friday, but Matt Waldron was great. 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 5 strikeouts. Dylan Cease was incredible on Saturday, 7 innings pitched, no runs, 1 hit, 10 strikeouts. And Michael Kling was flirting with a no-hitter for a while yesterday. He ends up giving up 1 and 7 and 6 strikeouts. So this is what the Padres need to do while the team is on the mend. They need those 3 guys to pitch like that and then figure out the other 2. I mean, the other 2 is whatever Randy Vasquez gives you, whoever the 5th starter is gives you until AJ Preller does his magic, whether good or bad magic.
His magic,
whether good or bad magic, that's yet to be seen, but he's going to have to make some moves.
I thought the last 2 performances by Dylan Cease is exactly what we've been looking for from him. And I thought him being in Cleveland where he's familiar with the pitching, he's familiar with the mound, he's familiar with the stadium because he played for the White Sox. I think that played a lot into his last performance. So I'm interested to see what he looks like his next time out because remember before the last 2 performances, he really struggled. Yeah. He really struggled to find his legs early in the game. But these back-to-back performances where he has looked like a number 1 starter with stuff. Y'all know I love me some stuff.
No team has been in Cleveland since the Yankees did it in April. So that's a big series win. And now, the Nationals are terrible all of a sudden. Like they've been bad since the Padres swept them in San Diego. The Nationals have been awful. And now they go to Washington for 3. And you got to win these games, man. And that's one thing that
don't
the
stop
team
it.
Here.
Here you go.
Because this is what they do. And this is why they're a 500 team.
Right. And you've got 9 games.
Teams they're supposed to.
9 games on the road to start the second half of the season, 2 out of 3 in Cleveland. You play 3 at Washington, and then you've got to play at Baltimore, who's a very good team. This is why you have to win games against bad teams like Washington. You have to win this series against Washington because I'm going to say this right now, it's not likely that you're going to win the series against Baltimore. Now, if they do, good for them. But you have to win against bad teams like Washington. Why is that? Why is that philosophically so wrong?
Because we've talked about this. This is a 500 team. And when you start saying who they have to beat, they oftentimes don't do that. No one, when we knew they were going into Cleveland, we were saying, oh, well, as long as they don't get embarrassed in Cleveland. They won the series against a very good baseball team. And now they're going to play the Nationals, who somehow we became a rival of theirs. And James Wood just hit a ball damn near out of the National Stadium. So that'll be interesting.
So the reason I say that, and by the way, Washington's coming off a sweep of the Reds, so take that for what it is. But
with that,
the reason I say that is because they're a 500 team, these games tend to come back and bite you. And we saw it last year. We saw it last year when they went to Pittsburgh, got swept, and they lost to the A's, got swept. and they missed out the playoffs by just a few games. Those are the games that come back to bite you, Browner. When you can go and manage a series victory against Cleveland, amazing. They've done that before. They beat the Dodgers. They have a winning record against the Dodgers this year. But it's these games that can come back to bite you, which is why I say they're important.
And by the way, listen, the Dodgers, I said this last week, you don't agree with me. That's cool. I would never give up on trying to win the division, especially while the Dodgers are as hurt as they are. And now if you're the Dodgers, you're coming off a 3-game sweep against Boston. Now you've got 4 games against San Francisco, who lost the series this past weekend to Colorado. So the Dodgers are at home with 4 against San Francisco, and the Padres are still on the road for the next 6. When you're playing a bad team like Washington and you know what the Dodgers are doing in front of you, you've got to win games like this and you've got to win series like this. But if you say no, they don't, then you know what? We'll get to the end of the season. The Padres won't be in the postseason. The Dodgers will have won the division. The Dodgers will have gotten healthy. The Dodgers will have added arms, and the Dodgers will be trying to make another World Series run. And we'll all be sitting here crying about, oh, man, if we look back at that series against Washington, if they could have just won that series, that might have been the difference. But you're right. You're right.
I'm not gonna be shocked by anything because my expectations for this team is at 500, and it's at 500 because the rest of the league is bad. That's
be real. Be real.
Oh,
You're
yeah, don't forget.
right now.
Yeah,
you're lying right now.
Why are you lying? Why are you lying to all the new people on SportsGrid?
No, I think this is a playoff team.
No, you said when we asked everybody, what will the Padres' second half record be? And I was like 4 or 5 games under 500. And Alex was like,
They were
a game
41 and 41 when I asked. They were a 500 team.
Mm-hmm.
There was which makes it 80 games left.
Mm-hmm.
You said 52 and 28.
Mm-hmm.
That's much better than a 500 ball club then.
I stand by that. But I'm not shocked by that poor performances. What you mean?
You don't stand by it.
And by the way, when I made that prediction, they were cruising along the lines of that, by the way.
All right, listen, still to come. Let's get to our highlight of the day, man. And then let's do a whole bunch of shout outs to people. As of July 22nd, we start a new deal with a monster distribution platform called SportsGrid. And we'll be live every day on national radio on Sirius XM channel 159. And we will be live on their national television platform every day from 10 a.m. till noon.
Only on SportsGrid.
Where are you at in terms of a starting lineup, what you want to see from Team USA?
I think he'll get guys involved, and then there's your lockdown defender at the point guard, the point of attack, right? I do like Curry. I would then go with Ant. I like Ant over Booker. I think if you look at the way the Canada game was, they looked kind of slow starting, and then they kind of got rolling.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
He talked about Major League Baseball and its rule, or actually its relationship with sports betting and gambling.
Integrity is the foremost concern, and a lot of people are questioning that given all the scandals, right? There's Mercado, there's Pat Hoberg, one of the best umpires in MLB, suspended right now. We don't exactly know what he did, but he's been disciplined, and he hasn't umpired a game this year.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
The staple of consistency within the AFC North, that's the Pittsburgh Steelers. 17 years under Mike Tomlin, never a losing record, never less than 8 wins.
You add Patrick Queen there over from your division rival. You take a look at that offensive line, which does have some question marks, but still a decent wide receiving core that they have, a running game that has Najee Harris, and a quarterback that's been there, done that.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, great friends. Hey, it's Kaplan and Crew with Grande and the Brown Man from the 7 Mile Casino Studios. And it's been a really good, solid, smooth day one as we've gone from expanding from Southern California, where we used to just be on radio, man. I'm telling you, like 5 years ago, we were only on a radio station, 1090. That was it. There was no YouTube. I mean, there was. We just weren't playing that game. We were only on radio. And 5 years later, YouTube, every audio podcast platform, cable TV, back onto radio, and now on the grid, SportsGrid, all over the country on TV, and all over the country on Sirius Channel 159. Scott Farrell will come up in the next hour, which is super exciting. I love being on with the same grid, if you will, with Scott Farrell. All right, Alex, are we ready? Oh, you're going to point. You're going to give Scott the two-handed, left-handed finger point, huh? Everything's gone pretty smooth today. I think our timing is off like a few seconds on SportsGrid, like because I can see when they come back from commercials, we're just sort of at the end of our little commercial break. But it's getting pretty good. It looks pretty solid. It really does. All right, let's do a highlight of the day, and then we'll give some shout outs to everybody who's watching. What do you say to that?
Yeah, let's do it. Absolutely. Highlight of the day brought to you by Torrey Holistics and California Holistics and Oxnard Holistics and Mammoth Holistics. With the promo code is Kaplan. Spend $75, get 20% off your purchase at Torrey, California, Oxnard, and Mammoth Holistics.
I just want to say something real quick to everybody who's watching around the country on SportsGrid or listening. You're like, wait a second. What do you mean? Yeah, dude. In California, we got weed shops everywhere. And they advertise with us. Yeah, they're everywhere. And they advertise with us. And if you're looking right now on SportsGrid, you can take your phone, use the QR code, and you can learn all about it on your own. All right, so here's our highlight of the day. It's presented by Torrey, California, Oxnard, and Mammoth Holistics. You spend $75 or more, you get 20% off your purchase. All right, Grande.
Did you guys watch some boxing this weekend?
No.
I saw the highlights of perhaps what we're talking about.
You watch Jake Paul knock out Mike Perry in a official boxing match?
I don't know who Mike Perry is.
Yeah, me neither. I do, but not for it. No one else really does, probably.
Yeah.
But this is what Jake Paul does now. You know, he calls out 60-year-old Mike Tyson. He calls out guys that used to be in the UFC that are now bare-knuckle boxers, and he fights people for whatever reason. And he knocked out Mike Perry this weekend on Saturday in a 6-round knockout. And immediately, because this is what he does now, he calls out Conor McGregor. This is what everybody does now. Does everybody realize that Conor McGregor is also done fighting? Like, he was supposed to fight like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and he had a pinky toe break, and that knocked him out.
Yeah, once I saw Conor McGregor break his leg in the ring, I'm like, that guy is toast. And then I don't know why, on God's name, I don't know why I watched Roadhouse 2, where Conor McGregor fights. Who's the actor that he fights?
Jake
Gyllenhaal.
Terrible. Just horrendous movie.
Anyways, here's Conor McGregor's call out of Jake Paul. Jake Paul is the biggest piss bag I've ever seen in my life. 40-pound weight difference, juiced out of his head, and still S-ing himself in there. Nakisa, whoever that is, you should take him to Vegas. Oh, that's right. You could never. The Real Athletic Commission testing, real fighting, B asses being the B word. You could never. And then calling out 60-year-old Mike Tyson fresh off an in-flight medical emergency. I swear to God, a fat can of bee piss, most valuable piss bag.
MVP, huh? Most valuable piss bag.
And then Jake Paul had this to say about Conor McGregor.
So Conor's on Twitter all the time. He's on his yacht all the time, but guess where he's not? In the ring fighting me. So he can talk all the wants, but the notorious MMA is scared of Jake Joseph Paul from Disney Channel. Put that on my mama.
Okay.
There you go.
You put that on your mama, huh? All right, well, there you go. There's your highlight.
We're still
of the day.
doing it. We're still doing this with this guy. We're still doing this.
Well, I'm just waiting for somebody to knock his block off.
He won't fight
lost
anybody
already.
Fighting, bro.
I know, but nobody. I mean, like, I'm looking for like Mike Tyson at 60 years old to go in there and knock him out. And that
you
ain't,
want him to get cleaned.
Well,
He not gonna fight nobody that's gonna clean him like that. He's not gonna do that.
Yeah, but I'm worried that he might beat Mike Tyson, or Mike Tyson takes a fall for the money, and that would just really that would destroy
60,
me.
Dog, 60. Mike Tyson
60
is
years
old. He's 60. Dog.
He was having heart attacks on the airplane, man.
Stop this. Mike Tyson's 60, bro. Let him. He the boxing version of Joe Biden. Let him chill, bro. Leave Mike alone.
Oh my God.
Like, let him go be a iconic figure in boxing, just like a name and a face. Bro, Mike Tyson don't need to be fighting nobody else, dog. We've seen boxers go down this road and they're not end well. Jake Paul, fight somebody your age, that's not on steroids, bro. Like, why are we still doing it?
And he lost.
Right. Correct.
All right, let me do this before we get out of here on SportsGrid, and then we're going to go into our uncensored portion of our podcast. Can I give some shout outs? I love that people are putting in their comments, which I love. So if you're putting in your comments into our live YouTube chat, I want to put them up on the screen, but now like we're kind of running out of time, and so I don't think Alex is going to do that for me.
Sorry,
Nah.
tomorrow.
Listen,
Yeah.
Mike McCann, I would say that to Tyson's face. He old, fam. Yes, I would. And I would say that with as much respect I could ever give a single person.
All right, let's go get Uncensored Sports Grid. We'll see you tomorrow.